Hello everyone and welcome to our 2010 Annual General Meeting. It's hard to imagine that the vision of a number of people in the early 1960s would still be continuing to this day, over 50 years. Albert York, founder and president for many years, would, I am sure, be very proud. Looking back over this year has highlighted to me the importance of what we do. True, we do not do a great deal in the way of research, but we should all feel very proud of our capacity to provide in-depth education to the thousands of visitors that come through our door every year. And of course, our special group bookings, of which we have had a number this year. In June we had Woolgoolga Public School. There was about 100 students and teachers, plus teachers. And because of the large group, we had two sessions, one from 6 till 7:45 and then one from about 8 o'clock till 9:30. In July, we had Eastport Primary School. There was about 30 kids there. And we mainly concentrated on the solar system because that's part of the primary school stage 3 level, where they're required to study our place in space. In August, we had the Camden Haven Sea Scouts, and September, October, we saw two more groups, just can't remember who they were from memory, which finished off the year. As always, we have had problems to work through, and the modification of the dome shutter to mechanise it was thwart with them. But Jim and I pressed on and overcame many technical problems, especially the reversing switching. So I'd like to share with you some video footage of that experience. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. Mike also came along and entertained us for a little while with his lovely music, which is fantastic. Thanks, Mike. Oh, he also helped us a great deal to get the ropes and pulleys down and whatnot. I basically looked after the machining side of things and some of the main installation work. This was the part that I machined to transfer the load onto the shutter. They part their bolts onto the shutter and then the chain drives the shutter. And these are the pins to locate the chain onto the steel plate there. This is the reversing motor mechanism that Jim spent some time on, and this is the switch that's operated off a sprocket that's attached onto the chain. And as you'll see later on, as the motor shutter rotates, it turns the two nuts along a shaft, and then those nuts will eventually trip out and stop the shutter. Well done, Jim. telescope tracking was also causing major headaches. We kept getting this proc trap 2 error and it was driving us crazy. So we sent the scope to Sydney and I brought it back, and we didn't really jump for joy. It took a further month or so to get to the root of the problems. In late January there was a meeting between Council, Rotary and ourselves to discuss the way forward with Rotary Park. And by mid-February we entertained with a barbecue and a slideshow about our history to about 20 or 30 so Rotarians. They were curious to know what we did and how we do it. And from all of this we have now secured our future at Rotary Park well into the future. Not long after these meetings we were then in a position to be able to paint the exterior of the building. Up until then we were sort of umming and ahhing about should we paint the outside, shouldn't we paint the outside. But after all these meetings we decided to paint the outside and tidy it up. And finally in March we had the telescope behaving itself and our lives were pretty good until the projector chucked a wobbly and we had to buy a new one, and we also bought a backup laptop as well. In April we were involved in the Heritage Week and opened our door extra days. We also ordered another 10,000 brochures. They seem to last about 2 years. We changed the brochure to accommodate a picture of our recent purchase of 4 kilogram iron nickel meteorite, which has certainly been a great talking point with the visitors. Let's have a quick look at the upgrade of Rotary Park as recorded by Prime News.
The Port Macquarie community is crying out for more youth recreation areas. The local council hopes plans to invigorate a public park will help bridge the shortfall.
Right now there's not much to it. The observatory attracts tourists, but aside from some ageing picnic tables and a swing set, the park does little for locals. But that's about to change. Port Macquarie Hastings Council has developed a master plan to overhaul the entire site. And for the next month, residents can have their say.
What's going out on exhibition is a concept alone. We'd like to determine exactly the components of what the community is looking for before we cost the plan.
The plan includes a much-needed renovation to the observatory. Volunteers have been awaiting an expansion for 10 years and say they're forced to turn away tourists over the summer.
So we do need a larger auditorium to accommodate 100, because from time to time we have to turn away like 30, 40 visitors at a time.
The idea is to make Rotary Park a recreational precinct with a shaded playground for the littlies, a cafe and outdoor eating area for families, bicycle path for the active, and with its proximity to the beach, a safe place for youth to congregate. But the upgrade could take a number of years, with the council yet to acquire funding for the project. Clementine Johnson at Port Macquarie, Prime News.
And these are the concept plans that the councillor was talking about, or the council person was talking about. It's quite a major overhaul of the park. Here's our new observatory building with a dome. There's a cafe attached to it, and there's a play area for the kids. And these are the stages that they're going to be happening in. So the whole project is estimated to take about 10 years perhaps. In June of this year, we were invited to talk on 2WMV about astrological subjects, and Rodney and Alan first took up the challenge and they talked about the moon, and then the second talk was about the moon again, part 2, and that was with Alan, Rodney and David. And then just recently Rodney, myself and Alan went over there and we talked about meteorites, and here's a clip of that particular talk, which Tim Bishop, he interviewed us. He actually put this together and put it up on YouTube. So sit back and enjoy.
Well, they say it was a large rock from outer space that wiped out the dinosaurs. and the fear is that a similar event may one day bring humankind to a fiery end. But how much do we actually know about meteors, meteoroids and meteorites? Personally, I don't know very much at all, which is why I'm thankfully joined by three gurus from the Port Macquarie Astronomical Society, Rodney, Alan and Kevin. Welcome to the program tonight.
Good evening, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Welcome to your listeners.
So tell me, Rodney, I was reading today that rocks from outer space are a lot more common than we realise in terms of them falling to Earth. Just how common are they?
Oh, it's true. We get hit all the time, all day, every day, but it's usually objects the size of a grain of sand up to about the size of a pea. Most of them we don't see at all because they enter the atmosphere way too high. And a lot of it enters in the daytime.
But they are solid?
Yeah, they are solid. It's dust, rock,
Okay.
anything from the size of a grain of sand up to the size of a pea.
Do you think it's possible, Rodney, that one time when I've been walking down the street and you get something in your eye, it could be a meteorite?
It could be something from outer space that's entered our atmosphere
I like to think
and
that
floated all the way down gently to the surface of the Earth.
Very
and
good.
when you're cleaning your house, some of that dust you're sweeping up is probably from outer space. If you're really interested, run a magnet over the roof of your house and you'll pick up little metallic grains with a magnet. They're little.
Well, this just about wraps it up for me. I'd just like to say a really, really, really big thank you to my committee members and all the people who volunteered, who operate the desk, and just generally have helped out over the year. Without all of our volunteering efforts, we certainly wouldn't survive here. That's me at the top left there, and then there's Rodney, Keith, who's recently left us. This photo was taken at a special lunch we had for Keith to thank him for all his help. He was vice president and he also did a lot of publicity for us and tried to encourage new members on board. And there's Mike, who instigated the purchase of the meteorite, which was a great move. Alan, who's been on the 2AFM along with Rodney. And on the bottom row there we've got Jim, of course, and Joy, our lovely secretary, who's done a fantastic job this year. So without further ado, I'll say thank you, and I look forward to serving as president for another year. Thank you. Bye bye.